Transform your business ideas into success stories with Telecel Business. Choose from a wide range of products and services tailor-made to drive your business. Call 0302 233 4040 or email to business@telecel.com.gh to sign up today. Telecel Business, connecting opportunities, connecting goals, connecting businesses. Telecel, connecting energies. Transform your business ideas into success stories with Telecel Business. Choose from a wide range of products and services tailor-made to drive your business. Call 0302 233 4040 or email to business@telecel.com.gh to sign up today. Telecel Business, connecting opportunities, connecting goals, connecting businesses. Telecel, connecting energies.
We're live on ABC News GHTV. Yes, I'm live. Telecel Ghana page or Facebook and YouTube. Yeah, the Telecel Women in Business webinar series and Beryl. I have with me Afi Amoro, why event for more than 28 years. Beryl is also a CEO of Echo House, also a events and a media and Yaa Birago. Please, what's your full name? Yaa Birago, yes, with the accent.
Yeah. Yaa Birago. Yaa Birago.
Yaa Birago. Yes. Okay. Honestly, Soko
bags.
Soko bags. And see, the month of September, Telecel for SME month, and almost the Emma Edijano I am share so they are trying to empower us, help us grow, and that is why I initiated the Women in Business at the ABBA. It's in the month of September, not just this webinar series. I made in one. There are other things or they ba programs or do any events or they ba no they be pejamino no. It's ya ton sa frame may ya kuku dam wajum a jet diemu and they come to tell us how they started, the challenges they've been through, how they are growing, and how they've scaled up. And there's so much you have the opportunity to share your views, ask questions, and you are welcome. You are welcome. I'll start with Afi Amoro. Afi, tell us a little bit about yourself.
Okay, Afi Amoro is a woman with a lot of ambition and drive. Okay. I started my business 28 years ago, pretty much from the scratch. And I have been developing and working on the brand year in, year out so that we still remain in the top, so that we are always relevant within the space in which we find ourselves. Okay. But I also, on a personal level, have 2 children who are with me in the business, and really I think that one of them should have been here instead of me. Okay. Because I have 2 young, vibrant women beside me, and my daughters are just equally qualified. Okay. So, having said that, maybe I would be the best person to be able to tell the story. Later on, they can take up other aspects, okay, if need be. Sure. But 2 children, I am 66 years old and still driving. I'm never going to retire. Yes, till the bones let go. Yes, because I have such a passion for what I do, and I intend to impact.
Okay, so 28 years ago, when you first started, was it like the first thing as a businesswoman, or there were other things you were dabbling in or something?
Yeah, actually, I was a civil servant. Okay. I worked in the civil service for 17 years, and I started out as a secretary. Okay. And, as a secretary, I just had a passion, a hobby for floral arrangements. Okay. And so what happened was that every Monday morning, I would pick flowers from my mother's garden and go and put it on my boss's table. And my boss was also very, he was very excited about that. So a couple of his friends came visiting, and one requested that I do a flower arrangement for his office, which I did. And my boss charged him for it. It was 15 cedis then, and he charged him for it. And from then, it became a regular thing. So it was actually my profession in the event industry. I'd say I stumbled upon it because it wasn't for money. But when I realized that really I could get some money from this to supplement my meager income, hey, I said, let's go for it. So it was something that just kept developing, no capital, but really one step at a time, I built what we have now.
Beryl, can you tell us more about yourself too?
Okay, so my name is Beryl Agyekum. I'm supposed to be a civil engineer, so I read civil engineering in KNUST, and I didn't like it very much because I realized that it just had I think in my class we had 25 girls and 250 boys, and the whole thing just confused me. I just felt like this wasn't my thing. I was struggling with it, and at the time, when I was growing up, I had always called myself a writer. So I said I wanted to tell the story of KNUST to the rest of the world. And so we started this magazine that we call Echo Magazine. And so the magazine became like, every semester it would come out, and it just had all the things that had happened in KNUST within that semester. And it became very popular.
And this was how many years ago?
This is 2008.
Okay.
So
a long time ago.
very long ago. So it became like a very popular magazine in KNUST, to the extent that also other schools started reaching out and saying that they wanted their own eco magazine. So it became like a double-sided magazine, had Legon on one side, KNUST on the other side, you know. But when we were about finishing school, the point was, it was like I needed to make a decision because my dad knew that his daughter was finishing school, she's an engineer. At that time, Ghana had just found oil and gas, and so he went to enroll me in an oil and gas school because, you know, you have to, you know, this is where the money is.
Opportunity
yeah.
was right.
So I did my national service with urban roads, and I didn't like it. You know, I just knew that this wasn't.
So what was it about engineering that you didn't like?
I think that I like to imagine stuff, and so, you know, I just felt like it was so very factual.
By the book.
You know, you had to. It was, and there was no. You couldn't bring anything to the table. It was more. It was more around the fact that the calculations are there. You do it, and then you move on. Until I feel like until you had gone to the top. But I think my brain is super creative, so I was always in this space of coming up with stuff. So one of the engineers came when we were finishing service. He came and said he has a friend, a Kenyan, who has set up a company, and he is looking for somebody to employ. And because, I mean, among the engineers, I was obviously not an engineer, so he's like, oh, let's go and try this out. So we met at Labadi Beach, and then he told me about his business. This company was a marketing agency, and it was my first time finding out that there was something called a marketing agency. So he pitched his business to me and said he wanted to bring me in as a business development officer. And then I said, okay, I hear you, but I have a magazine. It's not making money. Sometimes we do events to also be able to get content for the magazine. So this is my business. I would rather you help me build my business. And he was asking me, like, what are you making from your business? I'm not making anything. He said, so why are you giving me this, you know? He went to think about it, and he came back and said, okay, let's do it. Right. So he gave me a space in his office, and then that's sort of where we... Accra. This is all in Accra. So he gave me a little space in his office at Osu at the time, and that is sort of how I got to know that there's something like this, you know. But we had also gotten this network of young people who were very passionate about the magazine, and so the point then became that we had huge influence with young people. So how could we become an agency that, you know, helps brands to, you know, speak to?
For you to tell us about yourself.
I'm so sorry. I'm so sorry. I'm so sorry. Yes, but yeah, I've just gone on and on.
Tell us about yourself.
Me. Okay.
We'll come back to how you started.
Okay. So I am 38 years.
Okay.
I have a son who is 4 years. Roman. I do business with my husband, so we work together.
Running a family business.
We are running a family business. So we were in the same class in KNUST. So we read civil engineering together, and then we built a business together. So yes, that's. So
he knew about the magazine right from the.
Yeah. So I mean, it was at the time that he was asking me out, and I was spending so much time with it. She said, "Okay, if this all you're ever doing, let me come and help you." So I mean, basically, we have done it together from the start.
Okay. So now you can go back to the magazine.
Okay. Yeah. So I mean, I think I said everything, but basically, we learned about the agency business from this company. It's called Swivel Marketing, and so we did a bit of work with them, and then at a point when we felt like we had learned enough, we set up as ourselves, and then we started. So I mean, basically got into what we do now, which is 360 marketing.
Right.
Yes.
And Miss Yaa Birago, bags. Why bags? How did you get into that?
So where do I start? So in 2013, I came to Ghana, and I was actually involved in some NGO exercises. So when I came, I realized that there was a lot of black plastic bags, and it really bothered me a lot. So when I went back to Canada, I actually had a conversation with another, my business partner right now, about starting a reusable bag, something that is eco-friendly, biodegradable. I attempted actually to start in 2016. I started with certain people, but unfortunately it didn't go well. I would say the market was not ready. Coming in with a reusable bags in Ghana, people were not used to that. So we weren't even ready for accepting orders. So we had to kind of let things go. I went back to Canada didn't really return back to Ghana until 2017. Really didn't do much. And then during COVID, I took a trip to Ghana with my family. It was supposed to be 6 months. And then when I came, I was like, oh, the plastic bag issue is still a big problem. So let me try to see if I can start Soko Bags. And then I started. I used my mom's house. I started with 2 machines in 2022.
Okay.
And and essentially it grew into what it is today.
So you tried to start in 2013?
I tried to start actually, the idea was in 2013. I wasn't in Ghana yet.
Okay.
So I spoke to a friend of mine and then he's like, we can start together.
Okay.
But it didn't go well. Okay. And I wasn't here either. So when I came in 2021, September, I saw the plastic issue still being a huge problem.
You shelved the idea?
Yes.
For some time? And then came back to it?
Right. So at that time, because we tried to launch in 2016, the market wasn't ready. I needed to make sure that, that there's a good, solid market validation that ensures that the market is ready for such product. So when we launched, we used about like a month to do a pilot test program to see. And essentially the first week we had about 100 orders. And then we saw that, okay, the market is ready. So I basically utilized resources like digital marketing and other things to basically boost the business. Okay. But myself, I'm actually an IT consultant. So I basically quit everything that I was doing in Canada to move to Ghana to basically run this business. I know it's crazy. I know people like, why did you decide to move to Ghana? And for me, I think giving back, I give back in so many ways. I came to Ghana with an NGO purpose initially, and everything that I do kind of is, I want to make sure that I'm solving an issue, right? So with Soko Bags, it's very dear to my heart. Even though I'm in tech, I found myself in manufacturing, so I am making sure that I'm adding some technology aspects to the business to grow the business. Okay. So yeah.
Now you can tell us about yourself.
So I grew up in Canada. I have 2 boys. I'm currently in Ghana with them right now. Aside from, if not Soko Bags, I do other consulting on the side. I love going to the beach. I love being by myself sometimes. Just to enjoy just the nature and of course what God has to offer. So yeah, that's a bit about myself.
Why do you think that people go to school, study one thing, and then along the way, they decide, say, I don't want to do this, I want to start business? Is it because of money?
I don't think so. I don't think it's because of money. I think for me, it's about passion and making a change. Okay. Because I've seen what change does for me. I mean, I have mentors, I have people, advisors that I go and seek advice from, and I see what they do, and it's not only about the money, it's about the impact that you're making. Okay. And for me, it's about impact. So yes, I went to school for this, but I'm doing this because I see that that's where my purpose is, and that's where the change needs to come.
And Beryl, what can I say? We get to get in touch with our passion with age or something, and I said, like when we're young, we don't know what we really want until we are a bit older and more experienced. Then we discover our passion and want to change.
I think so. The educational system in Ghana, the way it's set up, if you write SSC or WASI and you, based on the grade you get, certain courses you have to, for example, you have to do. My mom was very passionate about me doing pharmacy. I had said that I am scared of, I can't, stand blood. So she's like, okay, then pharmacy is a good, so in her mind, me even going to do engineering was a compromise. Like, okay, you don't want it at all. So, but then I realized that because I'd always liked to write since I was really young, I didn't know what that could become. And I think even what helped me also was that I didn't enter this, with a plan to, do business. It was just something that I really like to do. So I remember that, when I finished school and then I finished my service, just before I met the agency, she asked me one day, like, what is this that you're doing? What is it? It's a magazine. How will you make money and stuff? But I mean, I'm always saying that I'm very grateful to her because even when she didn't understand it, she still allowed it.
Okay.
So she got, like, we have this very tiny office space, and she took our furniture, some of our old furniture at home, and she, like, you know, changed the leather, you know, and put it in the office for us and bought us a computer and a printer.
Okay.
And just like, okay, I don't know what it is, but you go and do it. You know, so we did that for a while until I realized that it could be a lucrative thing.
Business, okay.
So I think it's more around the fact that it's not so much even the passion, but it's like what you enjoy doing, you know, if you do it long enough. And I've recently come to this concept of consistency.
Yeah.
Because sometimes people say, where are you coming from? But I've done this since 2008.
Yeah, they have no idea.
You know, and you know, but it's okay to think that, you know, where are you coming from all of a sudden? So if you are consistent enough, even when the world is not yet allowing you to, you know, make sense of it, with time people realize that this is something
So
that,
like
you
in
know,
business, consistency
consistency
is key.
is everything.
Yeah, you can't take
everything.
consistency out.
Yes.
Okay, back to you, Afi.
I would really beg to differ in the context of the kind of environment we find ourselves in now. I'd say from the Generation X to Generation Z and Generation Alpha, they actually know what they want to do.
Okay.
Back in the day, yes, I wanted to go to the university. I didn't make it, so I went to be a secretary. But then I went back to the university, to business school, to get my degree, to get my master's, and all that. All that running a business at the same time. But the Generation X and Z, they know from school, SHS, they know I want to be a musician. Okay. And that is where I'm going to channel my resources and my energy. So I think that when we are speaking, we should speak in the context of the kind of space in which we are in and who the target audience that we want to impact.
Okay.
And those are the younger ones.
Okay.
In my case, that is how I see it.
Okay.
And that is how I think we should be, you know, communicating to them as to how to make them feel that it is possible and that they can and will be a success at whatever they do.
So let's take us through your journey, being a secretary and leaving to start up a business.
Yeah.
How did the whole thing
Yeah,
go?
like I would say, I stumbled upon this desire. It came from a hobby, but when the people started paying me for the hobby, I said, hey, there's money here. So it was actually...
So back then, how much were you earning as a secretary?
Oh, a pittance.
Okay.
And then it was a pittance, but I was in, I would say, a good office that, you know, had its own
Benefits.
perks. So it wasn't so bad, but my mind was saying to me that I cannot be in this space forever. I just knew it, that was not my space. And yet, it took me 17 years to make that decision, to go back to the university as a mature student, and then add value to myself. It was during that process that people actually started paying me, Auntie Afi, can you do this for me? Especially in the university. And I doffed my hat to all those young people. I was a mature student, but they kind of cottoned on to what I was doing and were bringing me little businesses like gospel rock show and that kind of thing, and on campus. And then when they left, pretty much around the same time that I left the university, they became a tool for growing my businesses because they kept coming back to me, Auntie Afi, there's this, where we are working, where we are doing our national service, they need the service. So they helped me build my business. And it was just one step after the other.
Okay, so 28 years ago,
yes,
when you decided to start Jandel, were you still like a secretary and, you know, combining the two?
I was a secretary who was on leave with pay. And then I was a student.
Okay.
I was a single mother of 2. So I was really multitasking. So the money aspect was a big deal for me.
Okay.
You know, it was a big deal. And when I saw the kind of revenue that I could get, I then decided to actually concentrate on building a business.
So did you get like a space where you working from home?
Initially, I was working from my mother's garden. Okay. I wasn't paying a dime. She was paying the water bill. She was watering the flowers, and I was picking the flowers, you know. So literally, she was, you know, she became my backbone. But when people order week in, week out, and then they give you some sporadic orders and that kind of thing, you find out that you need external help.
Okay.
And that is the essence of growth. When anytime you find that you need extra hands, you need extra material, extra equipment, you should know that you are growing.
Okay.
Yes. So you are no longer in that space. So then from my mother's backyard, I then acquired a place in the Trust Towers.
Okay.
And I went straight from zero to the Trust Towers, believing God to pay that rent and helping me to make enough money to pay the additional stuff that I had gotten. Then we were about 3, my sister and one other person. So we were running. My sister literally was the one who was running the business whilst I was going to school.
Where is she now?
She's in Baltimore, Texas now. Okay. Yeah, she's in Texas. Okay. She moved. So we started this, and then we kept building on our goodwill, and of course delivering quality for money. Okay. Yes. Yes.
Ms. Birago, in 2021, when you started building the business, did you get like a space where you were working from home? How was it back then?
Yeah, so when I came down in 2021, I was staying at my parents' house. Okay. And so my mom, they had built this other small house beside it. There wasn't much there, so I decided to take that space and then renovate it. Okay. So it was just a very small, like a chamber and hall, but I renovated it. And then I turned that into like a very small factory and office. So we set up the 2 machines there.
And then how many people were you working with at the beginning?
Just 2. 2 workers, okay. Yeah, 2 women, yeah. And then as time went on, we then grew onto the porch area. Okay. So we started to acquire more machines on the porch area. Okay. Then we realized that it's getting a bit too small for us. For you. Because when it rains, the rain is coming. And then of course I'm concerned about the workers as well. Okay. And I think the break was, we also got into another program called GCI. It's called Ghana Climate Innovation Center Incubator. It was actually run by Standard Chat. It's a program combination with them. And so that was, I think, the breaking point for me, or the bulb light that said, okay, you know what? There's something here. You guys need to most likely look at a different location. Because when they came, they did bring a lot of, I would say, values and things that I learned, and then also when it came to product development as well. So it was basically the starting point when I knew that I needed to grow. Okay. But in last year August was when we realized that we needed a space that's bigger, and of course also more machines. So
you've been working for like 3 years?
2.5 years.
2.5 years. Yes. Okay. And yes. When did you bring on more workers?
So last year August we were about 8 workers, and then we got a big contract actually from GTP, which was quite huge. So we needed to grow very, very, very fast. So we acquired a new location, our own facility, hired more additional people, and then got more machines to support that demand.
So how many are you now?
We're currently about 24.
Wow.
Yeah.
The growth is like exponential, yes, real fast within a very short time.
Yes, yes.
Congrats.
Thank you.
Beryl, take us back to when you met this person who wanted to come on board and help you. Most started was, like you said, and you were with your husband back then.
Yes.
So just the two of you.
Yes. So there were two other people who were also from tech with us.
Okay.
Who also, it was almost like they wanted to grow with it. They were working, in other places, but the point was that they were available to help. But at the time we started what we call the campus teams. So there are people who were on different campuses who were part of ECHO. Now, when they're finishing school, they want to come and work with us. And so till today, we have Julio, who was the very first, we call him general manager of Legon campus, and he finished school, did a bit of work with another agency, and then he said, at that time we're not making money. He said, I know you're not making money, but I really want to be here. So yes, so he just walked in one day and said, this is what I want to do. So we had a couple of people like that. Now we were in the Osu office. We moved from the space that my mom helped us to set up.
This was around which year?
This is 2011.
2011.
Yes.
4 people.
4 people. And then we moved to the office of the people who were trying to help us with marketing. So they gave us their basement. They had a nice basement, and then they gave that to us. But I think the big thing for us was some of the things that we had been doing that, for example, when maybe we asked for a bill, what we'll charge, we realized that no, there's value to this that we didn't know. And so the very first time that we got a brief and we did the budget and showed them, they said, no, this is not how we budget. So they now showed us exactly how to build a budget. I remember that when we were sending that very first email, I said, there's no way that they'll pay for this. Nobody will pay us for this. And then they sent an email and said it was approved. I said, actually.
So who was like your first client? Do you remember?
I remember. So we have, when it comes to events, our very first client was Samsung. They were trying to launch their Galaxy series, and they wanted to do a thing with SAC on the campuses, and it was a very so we built a plan, which I thought, no, there's no way. Then came and said,
why were you doubting yourself so much back then?
No, because, so it was completely new to me. We are doing a magazine. The students love it. So it's becoming very popular. Because of that, we are doing events, because you're always waiting for something to happen to print the magazine. So we're like, okay, let's do the event so that we don't need to wait for an event to happen. We also do that. The students, are at the event, there's so much noise about it. Now the brands are saying, that thing that you did, do it for my brand. So, and it was at the beginning of social media. Facebook was new and all that. And because we were dealing with students, everything we were doing was so loud. So we had our very first few events, a red and white event, a black and gold event. And I mean, they would typically dress up in those colors and come. So the brand said, give me that. So Samsung gave us that very first one. And then actually, Vodafone was our very first digital client. Telecel, but at the time, Vodafone. So Vodafone at the time, Telecel now, essentially gave us the very first digital, contract. So they said, you guys are allowed on there. What can you do for us? I was now even finding out that there was something like.
So right after Samsung, there was
Telecel. Yes. And so then it became
like you were lucky. You had only big brands to work with
from the start. So I think it gave us a good footing because we also had people finishing school who wanted to come and work with us. And so it was almost like we are learning about the business and also doing the business at the same time. So I mean, it's sort of how we have grown. We have always been, we are learning it and we are doing it.
But this was 2011.
Yes.
Coming to 2012.
Yes.
And from that time to today, that's like 12 years.
Yes.
How many people have you worked with? Uncountable, I'm sure.
Yes, I mean, so our present staff today, we are 200. 200 and maybe 202 or something. In Ghana,
all under one roof.
So in Ghana, we are 150. But we have also set up in Nigeria. We have set up in Liberia, Sierra Leone, and Benin. So Ghana is like our headquarters. But I think what I appreciate the most about this journey is that some of these guys, they sort of took a chance with us. Like they walked in.
Like
I think
the real guy you mentioned.
Yes.
Is he still with you
till today?
Wow.
And so some of these guys finish school, like Auntie Afi was saying, they know what they want. So when they finish school, and some of them are accountants, so many different professions, but they finish school and say they want to work with us. Their parents don't understand it, but they're like, this is what I want to do. So I am excited because some of these guys have been able to go into leaders. So for example, we have Adeswa who, she finished Legon. She's a Nigerian who came to Ghana to Legon, finished, and she was an English major. You know, very quiet girl. She moved to Liberia and started Echo in Liberia. Stayed there for 3 years and then left Liberia. Now she's leading our African expansion business.
Okay.
So I like the fact that some of these guys have, like, they took a chance on us, and then they have been able to also find their own spot within
before we even go back to our audience, can you mention some of the brands that you've worked with? I know you work with Dano.
Yes, we worked with Dano, we worked with
Telecel.
Yes, you know, Telecel is our, you know, one of our, like, our main.
Okay.
We work with Diageo, so Guinness, Ghana, you know, Smirnoff, all these brands. We work with Access Bank. We do a lot of work with Unilever, so Pepsodent, Close Up, Dove, like, you know. Also, I mean, in Ghana, maybe we are working with maybe about 35 brands now.
And how about Nigeria, being like a new market for you? How was it?
Nigeria there is showing us one or two, but I mean, I think what we are realizing is, like, we always enter a market when we have won something.
Okay.
So we go with business. Okay. So basically, we have an African expansion team. They are sitting there just looking for business everywhere.
Okay.
So if something, you know, sort of comes through, then we use that opportunity to set up.
Okay.
You know, so we also have people we are prepping. So in case there's an opportunity, then they are the ones who go.
Okay.
So Nigeria is, I think my biggest surprise has been Benin, because I was, you know, they're speaking French. You know, we just did something there 3 weeks ago. I mean, it was a very huge concert, 30,000 people, but they're all speaking French. I don't understand it, but I was just so excited that, like, we're doing this thing. Yes. Yeah. So I think we want to become like a West African partner. Okay. So that if a brand wants to come into this part, yeah. So that's what it is.
And back to your audience now. This is the maiden edition of the Telecel Women in Business webinar series, and I'm talking to these amazing women who started from nothing and have built themselves and their business up till now, and it's just awesome to watch. She had like 2 people working for her, now they are like 25. She had 4 and they are 200. And Miss Afi, you started with her, your sister,
yes,
and 2 other people.
Yes, and we are now we permanently around 47, but getting to the end of the year, we expand to about 180.
Wow.
Yeah.
Can I clap for you? I think we should all clap for them. Awesome. You are doing amazing. And considering, said this is Africa, and in our part of the world, you know, women are supposed to, you know what, just marry and stay home. And juggling all of everything you're doing with being mothers. You mentioned that you're all mothers and a wife, like Yaa Birago. So I'm coming back to you, Miss Afi. You mentioned at the beginning that you were a single mother, you were working as a secretary, going to school, and then running Jandel on the side. What kind of say what was like the major challenges that you faced doing all that at the same time? Yeah,
it was challenging, because I mean, you had to look at the family side of the business. I mean, of your life, which were the children, how to give them TLC, monitor their educational process, you know, paths and all that kind of thing. And then you were building a business, and then you were going to school. So over the weekends, I would come home and you know, put my business plans together for the week, and then help to initially do the flowers and that kind of thing. So, and then drive back to school. Okay. And it was challenging, because like on Monday, sleep in the class, at lectures was my
your favorite thing?
My middle name, because I was tired. You see, but I had a support system of some young boys who appreciated that this woman was going through quite a bit, and so they would then come and help out. But having said that, those challenges were never something that you know, deterred me. We built a business that was viable. We built a business that was recognizable and was impactful. We scaled through just being florists to providing of essential gifts and landscaping and interior decoration. We did that all in that value chain. We also then went up to, doing events. And the events was not only just doing decorations, but then we went into the management of events for all manner of clients. And we had a forte also in corporate. And it's really the corporate world that builds up the brand, because they are a niche of clients that you can actually plan with. And once they agree with you on your costing and all that, well, you're good to go. And it makes it kind of, it's a good support for every business to have that kind of security in financial support, and to help in client expansion. Because once a corporate body gets connected to you, another corporate body is also looking at you as a possible,
you will agree that
service provider
who would have access to the corporate bodies.
Oh, well, it's one thing that leads to the other, and that's what I was trying to build up on. Usually, corporate bodies look at your resume or your business profile to see who you've worked with, and that gives them some kind of comfort to know that, yes, you can deliver when they also give you this some job. In the initial stages of my life, my business development life, I had one big job that was around 1992, 93. I quite forget, but it was the 100th year celebration of Standard Chartered. I hadn't even registered a company, and they brought this business and said, "We think you can do it." So I did a quotation and all that. It was really pretty flippant. It's not now that you actually have to prepare before you put your proposal to your client. Those days, it was just somebody talking to you, having a vibe that you could do it, and then you put in your bid. And they gave it to me. And when they gave it to me, I was looking for money, because at that time, I hadn't seen any corporate check in my life, So I was just saying, okay, so when are you going to give me the money? He said, hey, we don't do that here.
First.
You have to pre-finance, and then we will give you a check, which you will put into the bank account.
Okay.
I was a novice. So quickly, I had to register the company, and then do the work, and then receive the check. That was my first check, and it was a big one. So it leveraged and, kicked me up to another level.
Beryl, I'll come back to you, and then you tell me some of the things you went through at the beginning of the business. But before that, I want us to go for a quick break. We'll be right back. Stay tuned.
Transform your business ideas into success stories with Telecel Business. Choose from a wide range of products and services tailor-made to drive your business. Call 0302-233-4040 or email to business@telecel.com.gh to sign up today. Telecel Business, connecting opportunities, connecting goals, connecting businesses. Telecel, connecting everyone.
Welcome back. Yeah, live or Telecel Ghana, a page or Facebook and for YouTube. And it's the Telecel Women in Business webinar series, the maiden episode. I'm here with Afi Amoro, Beryl Agyekum, and Yaa Birago. Yeah, I got it right. And we're talking business. And Beryl had something to say. Beryl, before you went on the break.
No, I was going to ask you.
Okay.
I was going to twist it and ask you because I think we all look up to you.
Hey.
Yes, and I think we think you are incredible with what you're doing.
Okay.
So maybe we want to hear your story too. We want to hear about your empire.
Hey.
Maybe you can tell us a little before you flip it back. You could probably tell us a little bit about yourself.
Is it about my media work or the food business?
Your empire. So I think it's everything and how you are juggling all of this because we are all wondering. Like,
oh wow, I know, right? So I started the food business 13 years ago. I started with the mackerel, just one container, and at the time I was renting a 2-bedroom house, and so when I brought the first container, I had no plan at all. I didn't know what I was doing. I didn't even have money to pay the duty at the port. So I found a way of taking money from one of our sponsors of the Delay Show to clear the container. I brought it to my home. I kept it in the kitchen, the storeroom, and one of the bedrooms. And I was working from the house. And I remember the first month of arrival, we were finding it very difficult to break into the market because at the time there was African Queen Obapa, Geisha, and these old brands that people knew about. And they were like, who is Delay? What is Delay mackerel? It doesn't even make sense. Why should I eat something that would delay my life? So people had all kinds of weird and funny comments. Some were very discouraging. But then we kept going. I remember there was a time we went to Dome markets. We just sold a tin of mackerel. Very discouraging. But there was one woman, Auntie Alberta at Okanshi. She was the one who said, you know what, you guys have been coming here. Let me take 200 boxes and start selling. So when her neighbor saw that people were buying, she also said, okay, bring me some. Then the next shop said, bring me some. And before we realized, everyone at Okanshi and CMB had our products. And I used the Delay Show as the platform to push it. And when the first container finished, we brought 4 containers. Then within a very short period of time, we're doing tons of containers. We're selling across the country. We started going to outside of Ghana. We're selling in the African shops in Europe and the US. And I mean, you know the rest of the story. So we started with the mackerel. We brought tomato paste. Then we did Delay sardine. Then Delay spaghetti. And then there was an issue with the dollar rate and stuff. So I said, I have to start doing like manufacturing. That was when I decided to bring the shito. I wanted to start slow and then go into other areas. So we started selling the shito, and that one too became like a household brand. Then the major project, that's the bread. And I think we are the first machine-made bread in Ghana. From mixing of the bread to cutting. The only thing that we do is that people like, we use manpower is the baking itself. We're doing thousands of loaves a day. We started some 6-7 months ago. And I think the bread is sitting on the equity of the goodwill of the other products. And I started doing other brands that are not Delay. We have Tasteway now. Tasteway sardines in pepper, Tasteway in vegetable oil. And I brought another line, Lala sardine, I'm doing Lala mackerel. So it's like I'm bringing other products on the market that people don't even know belongs to me. Because I realized that I don't have to depend solely on the Delay name. I have to build other brands. And now, sometimes I'm walking, I see a product that belongs to me that no one knows, and I just laugh and I go. So like my story is like yours. I started as a presenter, and I started selling, and now we're everywhere. And I brought a new product just last month. We are bringing it on the market. Delay milk powder. So we are just expanding and expanding and expanding. And I want to be like you guys. That's why we keep. And you know how it feels. You keep going. You don't know when
you
to
don't
stop.
know when to stop.
It's like
You should never stop. Like I was saying.
you should rest.
Oh no! In between all that, you must find some balance. Work hard and play hard.
Yeah.
And that would create a balance in your life, because it can't be all work.
Yeah.
You know, and always for me, thinking outside the box all the time is where it's where you can scale up. You know, because we find ourselves in a certain market that is, you know, is for want of a better word, is choked, because every day there are new people coming into the industry. So what do you do differently that will make, first of all, you can retain your clients, secondly, you can get more clients onto this, and that is being innovative, being resilient, being persistent, and knocking at doors that wouldn't open. And so that is what we have done in Jandel. We've thought outside the box, and in fact, for the past 5 years, single-handedly, we have been having what we call Light Up the City, which was our baby from the get-go. So we light up the runabouts and all that.
During the festive season.
Yes, that's us. Wow. Yes, and this was something that was, I mean, nobody thought about it till we started doing that for the municipalities. We know we don't only do that here in Accra, but we go to Kumasi, we go to the Western region, and we've also done Eid in Tamale, and we're just trying to spread that phenomenon across the country, and then who knows where it will take us. So, I mean, being very, very, you see, for any company to grow exponentially, you must tap to a need in that society.
Yeah.
If there is a need, then there's money to be had.
And I don't think it's so much, for me, I don't think it's about the money. Like, if you ask me, money is like the benefit that comes with it, but it gets to a point where you don't think so much about the money. You just want to make sure that things are working for you. I don't know if you guys feel the same.
Yes, but money is, tell you, it's a driving force. Yes, I mean, I don't want anybody to make any mistake.
No, I'm not saying that. What I'm saying is, it gets to a point where the money will come naturally, but you want the work you want things to work.
Yes, and be impactful. Yes. Out of that, then you go into your philanthropic goals and that kind of thing. But whatever you intend to do, it must be impactful on society. And when the society has that need, they will always patronize you.
Yes. Beryl, I'll come back to learning about your challenges and stuff, but Yaa has been quiet for a bit. So maybe she should tell us about some of the difficulties you faced.
So for me, I find myself in green manufacturing. So we're not only impacting environmentally, but of course societal impact and economic impact. So it becomes a bit challenging because for us, sustainability is everything. We want to make sure that we are not only sustaining our business here, but also making sure that the material we're using is sustainable. So sourcing locally is very, very difficult. As you all know, I mean, importation from outside of Ghana makes everything quite expensive. So for us, we made a very, very strategic decision that everything that we do will be sourced locally. So it becomes very difficult when you're trying to look for the right material that is, one, biodegradable, that's user-friendly, that's eco-friendly, and also, reusable all the time and durable. So that was a challenge for us, because even when we first started, we were actually dyeing our own material ourselves, and we had to, of course, learn different techniques as to how, like, someone will come, they're like, oh, they want blue bag, we have to figure out how to dye it, and then sourcing for the bag was sourcing for that actual material was another thing. That was one of the difficult things that I think we actually faced when we first started.
Have you ever gotten to that moment where you just think that, why am I putting myself through all this? who is pushing me to do it? Do you ever get to that point?
Certainly. I mean, there's many times where you think, why
am I doing this?
Right. You do think that, but of course you have to understand. For me, I go back to the reason why. It goes back to that why from the beginning, why I started this. I started because I want to do something good for the environment. And of course, money is important. Although, yes, I'm doing something for the environment, I also want to make sure that it's a business that's profitable, that I'm able to stay in the business and also pay the workers that I have.
Most importantly.
Exactly, right? We've never gone even a month saying we're not, every single time we pay our workers, we make sure that everything is done, as you said, you make sure that everything is running smoothly.
Smoothly, yes.
So we've definitely encountered some difficulties in Ghana for sure. Reusable bags like tote bags, now people are starting to call it soko bags. We've worked with a lot of companies that people may not even know. We work with Betway, we've worked with Embassy of France. We made the GTB bags that they currently give out at their stores. We've worked with so many other brands. Currently right now, we're actually working with a brand that I can't really mention right now, but we've been able to really gain a good credibility online. We utilize social media a lot. So it has really helped us build that brand online.
Don't we all?
Yes, we do. So yes, I think for us, we tapped into it. We knew that was the way to go.
Yeah.
Especially if we want to, of course, get to the younger audience as well. And I mean, companies are also now on social media too. So that is where we basically push our marketing quite a lot there.
Beryl, back to you. You are dodging the question I have. I'm coming back to you.
My biggest challenge, first of all, was just getting the community that is around the people that I work with to understand what we do.
Okay.
Because sometimes, for example, you meet, you have access to talent, very awesome talent. Maybe they came to do their national service, or maybe, they sort of just ended up in your space for a bit. After a while, it's, oh, I'm going to have to go and do this. I'm going back to whatever it is. And I'm saying, why? So my parents don't understand this. They don't know what this is. They say I come to work to come and do Facebook. You understand? So that dynamic is, and even for me, like my dad, I lost my dad 3 years ago, but
sorry about that.
My dad, till the very last moment, never understood what it is that we do.
Okay.
So I bring him in, and then he's seen everyone there, and then he say, "Mommy, like and the conversation was always like, "Where are they?" And then I said, "We do events for companies." And he said, "Company behind mamu events, mobile day." Like he doesn't understand.
But
like,
that's a legitimate, a legit question to ask.
Yeah, so
that's the question. Company behind mamu.
No, so I think it has a lot to do with spreading your base as much as possible.
I'm asking, so where are they?
So you see, we started off, there was a time from the beginning of our business where we had maybe 2 clients, and those were our, we had a year where we went on a rampage, sort of trying to source new clients. There are so many things that we do that we are only doing for business development. So we have an event called Tidal Rave, and it is a business development event, because usually by the time you're done with it, every brand is saying, it means that you have access, give me access, like I want something similar to what you have done. So we've introduced something in Echo called Bring Your Parents to Work Day. So we have a day where the parents come, and we take them around the office, and we sit them down, and we run them through
and explain
our business,
what you are doing.
And then they get the experience of it. So we'll do VR, like everything that we do for them to understand that when your daughter or your son comes to work, this is what they're doing.
So do you think you set yourself up to a certain level, so there's no way, and there's never going to be a time that you do not have any client at all?
Oh, everything is possible. And why I'm saying this is, you see, take it that, for example, every year there's something new. Sometimes nowadays, not even on a yearly basis, it's just months, quarters. Like, things change so quickly that the biggest mistake you can make is being complacent and thinking that the thing that you did last year is big enough to sustain you. So we started out as Echo that does events. Then we added digital. So digital marketing, being like, managing for brands and stuff like that. Then we turned the magazine to something called Cool Peeps. There are many people who don't even know that Cool Peeps is also Echo.
Okay.
Now, there was that. Then we started Storyboard, which is production. Then during COVID, when we realized that we couldn't do events anymore, we started Influencer Africa, which had to do with linking brands to influencers. Then we went on an African expansion drive. So
you are reinventing
at every point in time.
So that you don't get pushed out of business.
Yeah. And so we are okay to close what is not working anymore.
Okay.
And we are okay to refocus quickly.
Okay.
You understand? So sometimes I know it can feel like, why are you moving on so quickly? But that is, we will not, especially because of the space we are in, nothing matters for as long as you wish it would. People move on. So we are very quick to do that. So I think that is.
And just to touch on what you just said, for us, product development, yes, we can't stay that we just started with one product and just stay there. We just actually started with one product, and currently right now we have about 24 products because we have to constantly be ahead of the game because we feel like, yes, we are the only manufacturing company currently right now that do tote bags, reusable bags from jutes, and a whole bunch of combination. There is none here yet, but I always have to think ahead. I have to stay innovative, involve technology in a way that would set us apart and make us different. Currently right now, we just introduced a new digital label that will go on every single one of our bags. So when people go out, they definitely know. We're introducing other projects and making sure that we're a step ahead. So if there's if there's a competitor that does come in or if something does come and disrupt our business, we do have a new product or new service to look into. So we've introduced other products. So we don't only make bags. We actually now make aprons. We also now do printing because people have seen the work that we do and they see, there's quality. So they want to bring other
Okay, so someone online wants to know if he can get a job from any of you guys. Looking for a job opportunity.
It depends on what he does.
Yeah.
Okay, so maybe he can bring in his
resume.
Yeah, we're currently actually hiring, but on a very low scale. So you can send your resume to careers@sokobags.com. Yeah.
Okay. And do you have the problem of firing a lot of people sometimes?
Employee turnover is bound to come.
Okay.
I mean, if you don't put yourself in that space, you wouldn't understand. Yes, you. Anytime somebody leaves, it will give you a heartbreak or something like that. But it's something that is bound to come.
Okay.
Now, how you manage your turnover is what will make you.
I'm not talking about someone quitting. I'm talking about when you are in a situation where you have to fire someone, being a mother and all of that.
Oh, sometimes I do. You have to. you really have to be that hard to be able to listen. Because
so does it touch you in any way? Are you affected in any way? Do you feel like it's your weakness?
Sometimes it's you go back and you think about it, and perhaps you think of the moments, and it's just like reliving a bit of your life, which has just gone. But you have to move on.
So what was that the most difficult one that you had to do, firing someone?
No, before I will get to that point, I will have
exhausted all
every and typically sometimes I feel like, okay, and I don't know whether it's a woman thing, but sometimes I feel like we take responsibility for lots of things.
Yeah.
So when something is not working, I'm thinking maybe I didn't brief them right, or I didn't there's something I haven't done. So I sort of will go through all of that, but again, I have been very careful not to be a superwoman in the sense that I must do everything. When I realize that that's my weakness, I have strengthened my HR department enough to be able to handle certain things, because I know for a fact that it will be, if I do that, I'll probably think of it for the next 50 years, thinking that I did this to this person.
But have you done that before?
Personally,
no. So you and him will be
quietly. But no, it's not a thing I will typically, so it's not really my first option.
Okay.
I would typically maybe, right now we are changing departments for different reasons, but before we would change your department because you were not doing well there.
Okay.
You understand? Now we are changing because we want people to know like all the different things in the business. But initially, you are in the digital team, you're not doing well. I move you to maybe the BTL team. I try and sometimes it works out. I found that sometimes the person goes, but sometimes there are also people who are just not. I realize that sometimes people get into this space waiting to get into what they really want to do, and that is one of the things I want to be able to spot early, because I would rather not go 4 years. I have people who have worked with me for 11 years, 12 years. I'd rather not go 5 years with you before you, okay, now I'm going to do what I really want to do. I would rather you find that out early and then you...
have you been in that position before where you had to let someone go?
Yes, I have. Actually, it was this year. I've learned to actually take my emotions out of situations because I'm very emotional as well. And my business partner would say everything has to be transactional. Try not to put your emotions into things. So yes, so early this year, so as I said, we were expanding. So we expanded quite quickly because the demand was getting too much. So meaning that we kind of hired a little bit more. So come, I believe, January, February, business was a little bit slow. So we needed to come up with a decision to
let some people go.
Yes, let people that we didn't see were performing go. It was a bit difficult for me. However, I had to take my emotions out of it because at the end of the day, it's business that I'm running, right? So, myself and my business partner, we spoke, and then we spoke to the HR department, the person that's in charge. And we basically, yes, we had to cut down.
So did you do it yourself? I want to know.
Myself? No, I did not personally do it myself, but we had a meeting. We had a general meeting, and I did speak about, the
need for some people
direction that's coming. But yes, I made sure my other business partner in the HR did take care of that situation. But because there was someone that was actually part of the team that we started with, and I was very attached to the person. I actually considered her as my daughter.
Just playing back some moments in my mind. Because what I mostly do is like when we set up a new brand, I am on top of it. I manage it until I feel like it's ready. Then I move on to the next. So I started working with the bakery for some time, and there was one particular guy who kept burning bread. I'm being serious. He burns like 2 bags consistently, and his wife had just given birth, and it was so difficult letting him go because I was thinking about the child. But then he had to go. So the day we told him to go, I was upstairs at the office just looking at him. When I saw him, my heart just sank. It was so difficult, and I called him back. And I explained to him why he had to go, even though they had told him to go. And they gave him his benefits and all. But then I'm here. Every month, I find myself sending him money. Even though I'm not supposed to do it. So that's why I was asking, because we are women, there's a certain...
it always happens. But for me, what I do is that, if you fire somebody and you do not tell the person why, or you are interviewing a few people and you do not tell them why you are not hiring them, you are not preparing them for societal inclusion. So whenever I want to fire somebody, I'll tell him, I'll call the person, and the mother in me will speak to that person and tell him that this and this and this are the reasons why you have to go. And I hope that when you go out there, you do not make these same mistakes. Otherwise, it will, just keep occurring to you. Because a lot of people reject people or fire people. They don't give them the reason why. So they keep on repeating. I mean, a classic case is what you are just saying. He's been burning bread.
Consistently.
So if he's burning bread, the next time he goes into a bakery, he'll be careful not to burn the bread. You see?
I get
but
it.
If you don't tell this, then you're not doing society any good.
So I think a question came in just in time. It's similar to what we're discussing. Dre Jizzle is asking, in the pursuit of building your empire, has your gender posed any limitations on your progress? Do you think you could be way bigger than where you are now if you were a male?
subjective. In the spaces in which we are operating, I think women are doing quite well.
Yeah.
And if you look at the statistics that we have in this country, a lot of women in entrepreneurship are really breaking the glass ceiling. So the men have got their niche in the hardcore areas of performances. And I would always give credit to the men behind us. You know, whichever man support, because you can't do it by yourself. There's always a mentor that you have to run to bounce something off. And I couldn't even begin to discredit them in any shape or form. However, women have got that challenge sometimes. You dress fine, you look good, you go stand in front, sit before the man, and the hormones are all over the place. And you get certain, you know, requests which require you to do an introspection and evaluation
About your life.
about your life and say, is this where I want to go? In 20 years, what would my children look? How would this resonate if, you know, you had to exchange something for something? I'm just speaking in parables for people to understand.
So the
but
question
you have
about
to be very resilient in that. Yes.
About whether being a female has limited you or giving you a limitation.
Not really. I think for me, I do have a co-founder that's male, so he does add a lot to me.
Okay.
And I think that is where I find the strength, the balance, because in Ghana, definitely, you know, being a woman, it does play a bit of, you know, it does have a negative impact, but I do feel like if you do have a male co-founder or someone that's behind you that's also pushing you and giving you the confidence, yes, I can go into rooms and pitch. I can, you know, stand on my own and basically talk and pitch about my business without him being there, but he's actually there supporting me. So yeah, I'm happy with that.
No, I mean, well, I work with my husband, and what typically happens is, so I am like the motherly, you know, so typically I want to know from him, this thing, I'm looking at it this way, is it, how are you seeing it?
Okay.
And half of the time he'll say, so for example, there's a situation, I'm ranting about it, he's quiet, but he has made his decision. So he says to me, we are done with this. And then I am not, you know, I was complaining. So now I'm like, oh, I was just complaining. I didn't mean it to be, it's not final. And he's like, no, but we are truly done with it. And we go on that journey. One of the things that, and when Auntie Afi was saying it, that's when I'm super grateful for the men in our business. Because when we are, it's like they bring a very different perspective. And they haven't, I mean, so far, they have, apart from saying like, hey, you people are, you know, sometimes say, oh, Beryl, you're very emotional. But I mean, this is, you know, something that we're all laughing about. They have been extremely instrumental in terms of, you know, just being a strong backbone for us. You know, so I say it all the time. Like sometimes there's something we are pitching for. We are all like, you know, we're going to get this thing, and then an email comes and it didn't come through. And truly, in that moment, what I really, really want to do is cry. Like, you know, I want to cry. And then, you know, my husband is saying, we didn't need this business in the first place. Hey, what do you mean we didn't need this? We need this, you know, and his perspective, I'm like, why is it that everything, it's like he has a way to make the thing that has gone wrong look like it was meant to go wrong, you know. Just 3 days ago. Like,
I think women, we behave differently from men.
Yes.
In business.
Yes.
We will just be screaming up and down. You scream up and down.
No, 3 days ago, there's something that we're like, you know, looking for in Nigeria, and you know, we had found out that it was even being looked at on a bigger scale. So I mean, we are very excited just thinking, you know, so someone calls me, we go home like 9 p.m. Someone calls me and says, this happened on the call today and this person said this, and therefore so it's looking like the thing is not going to happen. So in that moment, like he was waiting for me to finish, you know, on the phone, and I'm like, I was so upset, like my eyes, like there were tears. I was so upset. I'm just, can you believe that this happens and this and this and this and that? And he's like, oh, Charlie, that's a terrible thing. We didn't need it. It's okay, let it go. You know, if it came, like, we would have been in trouble. I'm like, ah. Then after that, he slept. And I was just thinking, he is asleep after this thing that has happened. So I sat there for like maybe 2 hours, just very upset with him. I was looking at him.
Being a woman.
Yes. And so the morning I said, yesterday, I was very upset. You slept. He said, but what should I do? I said, how can you sleep in a situation like this? But I think that I was just, in that moment I said.
He's more like the voice of reasoning, isn't he?
So if I was there with maybe other women, maybe we will have taken a phone and maybe called the people and said, how dare you? Like, you know. But I just think that we all come with our own, you know.
Yeah. So it takes us to my next question. The person says that, does it affect the business if the person around you, that's like your employees, are family, and there's sort of a misunderstanding, they do not understand you? Does it affect you in any way?
So I work with my husband and my brother. So my brother is head of finance.
Okay.
And my husband is operations head and me. I think what has happened is, and so there's a dynamic that we have. If we have had a fight from home and we come to the office, it doesn't exist. So we would drive to the office together and maybe we are upset. But if we get to the office, it's done.
Business resumes.
It doesn't mean that, I can't say that's 100%, but truly, I have never not worked with them. So I actually don't know what it is like to not work with them. I was just saying recently that if I have, and I know it may not be a universal, because sometimes people have also found other, but I feel like if two of my favorite people, you know, my husband and my brother, you know, my brother who I grew up with, if we can sort of help each other to move to the next level, I mean, that's just a personal thing. I feel like it's probably easier than, you know, people that I don't know who I hope will, you know, it doesn't mean that it's universal. I think that other people have also found their own, you know, but for me, that is a situation that really works for me.
And to add to that, my brother is our head of operations. And I think 2 months ago, we got into a misunderstanding. We were not talking for the first time in like, God knows how long. But business was going on. If he needed me to sign a contract, he would bring it. I'll sign. We won't talk, then he'll leave. Then he'll come back. If he needed something, there was a point where my sister became the mediator. My sister was like, guys, I'm tired of doing this. You guys should just talk so that the business can go. So I mean, I get what you're saying.
Yeah, I have my two
You went with your
daughters.
sister, you said, at the beginning, initially.
Yes, but that was for about some 5 years, and then she wanted to relocate. It was voluntary, she wanted to go. But my daughters, having worked, you know, lived around the business, took their own decision to join the business. So the older one, after doing her service at MTN, you know, came to help us to build the business. It was then, I know I shouldn't have, but
it's okay.
But but you know, she helped build the business, and she took us into the digital this thing and social media. At that time, I was totally reluctant to put my business out there, but she got her team to come together, and her sister, you know, from another mother came in, and they helped to give visibility to the company on the social media platforms. And so the other one, the junior one, also came and joined. That was their decision. And so I have the backbone of having these two people who I can always bounce stuff from, because really they have also the zeal to build the business to another level. Because what we do not think about in Ghana is building generational businesses. After the founder dies, then
and the business comes to a halt.
You know, every person in entrepreneurship should be intentional about growing businesses that live after them.
That has a succession
plan. Thrive after them. So this is something that I would like to leave out there for women in business, the younger ones. And don't just think about your generation. Think about building a Marks and Spencer. Think about building a bigger brand, you know, than yourself. And then it's much better for society.
So
yes.
this is for Beryl from Joseph Jalen Amua. He says, I'd like to know from Beryl, having worked with young people and the success Echo House has chalked so far, does it defy the notion that Ghanaian youth is lazy? But we'll take your answer after this break. We'll be right back.
There is a business in every woman. And then she works, juggling all that matters to her in seeming effortlessness. One thing is for sure, there is a business in every woman. Introducing Telecel Women in Business, our initiative to empower women-led and women-owned enterprises. Accelerate your growth with finance and investment initiatives. Extend your reach with a free business website, access to digital and physical marketplace. Be empowered through exclusive networking and thought leadership platforms. Enjoy bonus reward with our Red Loyalty and lots more. To benefit from this initiative, be a female-led business and a Telecel business customer. Visit telecel.com.gh/business to register now.
Telecel. Connecting energies.
Transform your business ideas into success stories with Telecel Business. Choose from a wide range of products and services tailor-made to drive your business. Call 0302-233-4040 or email to business@telecel.com.gh to sign up today. Telecel Business, connecting opportunities, connecting goals, connecting businesses. Telecel, connecting energies.
There is a business in every woman. And then she works, juggling all that matters to her in seeming effortlessness. One thing is for sure, there is a business in every woman. Introducing Telecel Women in Business, our initiative to empower women-led and women-owned enterprises. Accelerate your growth with finance and investment initiatives. Extend your reach with a free business website, access to digital and physical marketplace. Be empowered through exclusive networking and thought leadership platforms. Enjoy bonus reward with our Red Loyalty and lots more. To benefit from this initiative, be a female-led business and a Telecel business customer. Visit telecel.com.gh/business to register now.
Telecel. Connecting energies.
Welcome back. The Telecel Women in Business webinar series, the first episode. And I'm having an amazing time. And I have a little girl inside a shaman who started this Tom Brown business, who just sent me a message, said Oshe, and she's so excited. And Oshe, your new TVC for Telecel Women in Business, no, you can sign up. Oko Telecel Business, now I sign it up. And near be brio homa, a lot of rewards, events near day, will be taking advantage. Now a Juma now will help you grow, will empower you. We're here for you. Yeah, the energy no air connected to also energy. Telecel there, we are connecting energies. The more than power. Let's continue. Back to you guys. I bet you had no clue when you were young, said this was where you're going to get to. You thought you were going to be an engineer, like you said. And see, if you had known, said this was where you would have gotten to, what thing would you have done differently? Like, what thing would you have done differently?
I would have doubted myself less.
Okay. You had doubts?
Yes. I mean, because, like I'm saying, I think that sometimes people say, okay, this is me, I'm about to set up a business, and this is what I'm going to be doing.
Okay.
And sometimes I wish that was my story, right?
Okay.
I wish that I knew that this was going to be a business.
Okay.
And why I'm saying that is there are so many things that in retrospect, I am happy it happened.
Okay.
But at the moment it happened, it felt like my world had come to an end.
Yeah.
So I saw something yesterday. They were talking about nothing is bad, nothing is good, everything is God. So
Everything is
God.
God. Okay.
And so there's a disappointment that you face that makes you have to look at other options.
Okay.
Or there's somebody who leaves, who you think, I am dead, I am done, this person. And then you meet somebody else and
Much
think, where
better.
have you been?
Yeah.
You understand? And so I think that if I knew that this is where it would get to, I would have looked at things very differently. Okay. I mean, plenty tears would not have come, and a lot of doubts would not have.
In a nutshell, no, all things work together
for good.
For good, yes. Doesn't it?
Yes.
How about you, Miss Afi?
In fact, I can't even add anything to what she said because really, pretty much, this would be my story as well. Mm-hmm. And you look at your younger self. And you think you could have done something a little bit better than what you have done. I was thinking that perhaps I could have sought advice and put in certain structures that were a bit delayed in my business. I should have done those earlier. Mm-hmm. And I thought that perhaps that would have made the business grow more exponentially than it has done now. Having said that, we still are in the business of evolving, and there's nothing. I never say never, because once you have life, you have everything, and you can always reinvent the wheel and do bigger and better things all the time, knowing that there is a great God who takes care of things. The God factor must never be dismissed. Then you have that team of people who are rooting for you, who are critical in your life, who will always correct you when you are going wrong. I wish I had that team a lot earlier, but I have to give thanks to my mother, who is no longer here, who became my business development manager, because my mother was doing small scale business, and what she would instill in me every year, at the end of the year, she would ask me, Afi, so what are you going to do differently next year? But she was the sole voice, and we would think about it. But if I had a team who were just thinking critically about how to develop our strategies for the next year, I think that we would have grown bigger. So
you mentioned you were 68. Pardon? Your age?
66.
66.
Yes.
Sorry, and you'll be 17 4 years.
4 years.
When are you retiring?
Oh, I'm never retiring. That's because I don't believe, and I may be kicked upstairs by the two girls, yes, but I would always have that voice for experience to guide them. Okay. So when you look at it that way, it is building a company that should be resilient.
Okay.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
How about you?
What I would tell my younger self, actually, that everything will work out.
Okay.
Everything will work out. I think I echo what everybody's saying. Yes, my younger self, I was more worrisome, anxieties, don't know where. You just don't see ahead too far. So, but where I see myself now, I think I always say I'm very grateful. That is something that I try to do all the time, showing gratitude, because the people that I have in my circle, my supportive system, have been really, really, I'll say, influential in terms of my transformation as a leader and my transformation as a person personally. So I would say everything will work out. God will put you in the place that you meet the right people. You meet the right people that will help you get the resources that you need to build up. even in any room that I walk into, I go in with a prayer. Like I will meet someone that will, if they're my destiny helper, they'll help me. So I think that everything will work out. That's what I would tell my younger self. Don't worry.
Before we go, let me ask you one very important question. You guys are making millions. Are you spending some? Are you spending some of the millions?
The millions is not here yet.
Are
it's
you
coming.
sure?
Well, what I would say I've learned to, initially when we first started, you know, there was a lot of bootstrapping, my own funding that I put in and everything like that. Of course, got some help. Also got some people that really believed in the business that pushed me forward. So I've gone to a place where, yes, I do pay myself to a certain degree, but everything else, of course, have to go back in the company and then reinvest. Yeah, so I've learned to pay. I think that's what I've come to learn as a founder. You have to learn to pay yourself before anything else, because the work that you're putting is extraordinary. And sometimes you may not see it. You think that, you know what, it's other people that are doing it, but it's your vision. And then it's you that's also leading them to make sure that that vision comes to reality.
Okay. Are you spending some of the money? Beryl, you?
Oh, yeah.
Are you spending some of the money?
I mean, I pay myself.
Okay.
I think that I recently I was asking my brother, like, I said, so Kofi, what is it right now? Are we rich? What is it? Because I said I want to have some money to do some extra things, but you know. But the point is, I think we had spent so much time trying to put, you know, sort of put it back in and sort of growing it, that now, you know, I was just saying recently that I want to look outside and see some of the money in, you know, in actual fact. But growing a business is a very expensive thing. So typically you see it, but you are putting it all back in.
Okay.
Yeah.
And I wanted us to go, but the questions keep coming in. David Jima was asking if it was good to start a business with his wife. I think Beryl and Bright have proven to us that is good.
Yeah, I mean, like that's what I was saying, that it has a lot to do with the two individuals, because there's a lot of there's a lot of understanding of each other, a lot of patience that you need. I think it gets better with time. So it starts off because you're now figuring out your, like, you know, your barriers and stuff like that. So if the two people are committed to ensuring that they understand each other, you understand. Because I know that there have been good stories and also stories that didn't end up. So I think it has to do with two people just deciding that they want to make it work.
Jizzle is back. He says, what keeps you up at night each day?
Keeps me up at night? Right now, I don't have much that keeps me up at night.
Okay.
No, I think for me, I don't know what everybody, I've gone through like series of anxieties before. So I've learned to try to have time for myself. So most times I actually go to bed and then wake up a bit early to do and meditate and all that stuff. So I've really learned to not have anything keep me up at night.
Okay.
Yeah, I've really learned not to. And I think for me, the past few years, I'm also learning to be productive instead of just being busy. Because sometimes we think that everything is just go, and being busy means you're being productive.
Okay.
So I've been very, very selective as to what, you know, I would do that would take my time, that I know will be valuable to me now and also in the future. So yes, I sleep.
The questions
I sleep
keep
at night.
coming. How many vacations do you take in a year? You work so hard. Hey, the questions are coming and coming. Do you go on any vacation?
I do. I take vacations.
You haven't gone on any?
No, so...
When was the last time you went for a break? Like you went for a vacation, a proper vacation?
So, the last time, and it's not a healthy thing, but I'm learning to do better, so don't judge me. But my last leave was my maternity leave, which was 5 years ago.
Oh.
No,
but that's what I'm saying, that's not a good thing at all.
We're all giving you the side eye.
Yes, you know, because I mean, even I am also seeing the kind of toll that it takes, right, on me. So I think that I didn't want to say it because I don't think it's a good it's a good thing. Yeah.
I take vacations. I make it very intentional. As I said, like, you know, I've gone through a series of anxieties and other things, and I find time for myself and also for my kids. So we do take, road trips here and there. And me, sometimes, as I said, I like to go to the beach and just sit there and just, take in the nature. Yeah. And I think for me, sometimes getting that me time for myself is where I find the creative juices coming out. I really find ways to innovate and the new ideas will start coming in. So I've learned to take time for myself because I don't want to get sick anymore.
So your team in Nigeria are saying hello to you.
Okay.
They're saying shout outs to you. You're the bestest boss ever. And they're saying great stories. We've been enlightened, and they are advising us to learn to pay ourselves and go on breaks, like go for vacations and stuff.
Yeah, it's a good thing.
Awesome. So are there any last words you'd like to share with us? To, let's say, a young entrepreneur who is looking up to you, maybe a lady who has finished her service, who has decided that she doesn't want to work with anyone, she wants to start something. What do you want to tell her?
Yeah, I would first of all like to tell the person to believe in themselves and know that whichever career path that they decide to take, first of all, God is with them, and at the same time, they must be intentional about planning. They should start small, because when you start small, that is, and you keep, the nature of the business keeps demanding for you to expand. That is when you know that your business is actually growing. Don't go for a big capital and come and start, boom, and then by a couple of years you start going down. You can only see your growth when you see your need for more staff, for more equipment, for more, resources, so to speak. So just believe in yourself and be very, very, very intentional about educating yourself around the business niche that you are carving for yourself. If you want to go into delay mackerel, know that you want to give the best mackerel ever. So where the mackerel is being
the best
canned,
taste on the market today.
Yes, and where it is, we are asking for value for money.
Exactly, and we are giving them just that.
And it must be healthy.
Very healthy.
Yes.
Under
so
highly, hygienic conditions.
Exactly.
Our bread to the best.
So you learn around all those things to perfect your business. And as you go, don't ever give up on learning. Keep learning. Keep learning. Keep going to courses. Keep educating yourself around your business. For me, that is what I would say.
A question came in. I already asked that question. The bit about someone looking for a job opportunity or national service opening. We asked that, didn't I? Yeah, I did. Good. So I think we've exhausted everything. And there are some comments coming in. Someone asked if, in terms of succession planning, if your children are not interested in your business, what would you do? That's a very difficult one. So it means like when you are gone, that is it, right?
No. At all. No.
So some people will take your business.
Oh, well, if you see, if there are people within your establishment who have showed dedication to it, you can groom those people.
So they will take over their business.
And then also there's something like floating shares or that kind of thing. So you can get other people. So it's like a conglomerate of people who are now running and owning the business. And so different thought processes come into it, and they help drive the business upwards. So you shouldn't just give up on that. Yes. For all you know, the children will derive dividends from these people's hard work.
Holalom says this is the best conversation I've listened to today. Thank you, Delay, the ladies and Telecel, and Comfort Banduma. I'm loving this. You ladies are inspiring. And basically, please, your final words.
So my final words for any young entrepreneur or woman or even men out there is, exactly, start start small, start from where you are. Many times, yes, we feel like we need to do everything very big. Always make sure that you validate that product before it hits the market. In technology age, we have people building products that, of course, they go in the market and it doesn't sell. So make sure that your product is selling. You validate it before it hits the market. Also, I'll say find the right team and the mentors and the advisors that would really push you, your sponsors that would really help you to where you need to go to. Many times myself, I know myself that initially when I first started as an entrepreneur, I wanted to do everything myself, but it's impossible.
No,
so
you
need to have the right people, the right team, people that will push you, people that will give you the right advice. I'm constantly running my thoughts, running my ideas to my mentor, who would come back with me with new ideas and new ways that I would run my business. Take that on, have that tribe that would help you move to the next level, because that's what I think has helped me on my journey.
Okay, and does anyone want to add anything?
No.
You are done?
Yes.
Okay, for me, dear, all I'll say is that I met this man, Mr. Martin Broby, who was the founder of Yaas. He was a sponsor of the Delay Show. I started going to the market with him to do activations and stuff. And that was when I had the idea that I'm always following this man to help him sell. I should also have my own product so that I'll sell for myself. So that was my light bulb moment. I had that epiphany at that. So there's always an opportunity out there. You should always open your eyes. You will never know when you have that awakening. And once it comes, it shouldn't just be a dream. You should follow through and make sure that it comes to life. And nobody said it was going to be easy. There are nights when you cry. They know.
Oh, yeah.
They are smiling, but they won't tell you. You will cry. There are days when you will be asking yourself, why am I doing this? Who is forcing me? I'm tired. Maybe I should just stop and then find somewhere and sit and just, go on a holiday. Go to Rome and bask on a rock like a lizard or something. We have that moment. But then again, it takes me back to what Yaa said. You remember the why. You ask yourself, why did I start all of this? And then you need the support at a point. That is where Telecel Women in Business comes in. You go to Telecel Business Online, and then you go and register, and we're here to support you. We're here to empower you. We're here to help you go. Remember that we are connecting our energy to yours. Telecel, connecting energies. Thanks for watching us.
There is a business in every woman. And then she works, juggling all that matters to her in seeming effortlessness. One thing is for sure, there is a business in every woman. Introducing Telecel Women in Business, our initiative to empower women-led and women-owned enterprises. Accelerate your growth with finance and investment initiatives. Extend your reach with a free business website, access to digital and physical marketplace. Be empowered through exclusive networking and thought leadership platforms. Enjoy bonus reward with our Red Loyalty and lots more. To benefit from this initiative, be a female-led business and a Telecel business customer. Visit telecel.com.gh/business to register now.
Telecel, connecting energy.
Transform your business ideas into success stories with Telecel Business. Choose from a wide range of products and services tailor-made to drive your business. Call 0302-233-4040 or email to business@telecel.com.gh to sign up today. Telecel Business, connecting opportunities, connecting goals. Call connecting businesses. Telecel, connecting energy.